Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining this session in balancing today. We are going to start on our knees, hands and knees, what we usually call the tabletop. So check that your shoulders are on top of your wrists, that your hips are over your knees, and let's give ourselves a short moment here to start warming up the body. So start by creating a few circles with the pelvis before we balance. We always want to prepare our muscles and body. So this is an opportunity to just start getting a little more connected to the sensations that are happening today. You can, as I'm doing zigzag a little, you can add a little bit of undulations, inhaling, exhaling, adding a little bit of more breath into those movements so you can open up space, maybe untangle things that feel a little tense there, okay? So give yourself a moment. You can look over to one side and the other side. And if you need to add a little bit more of those undulations, you're more than welcome to do so. Sometimes I also like to start feeling how my joints are doing. So I'm swinging a little bit, coming like I'm showing forward and back a few times. You can also tuck your toes and add a little bit of that sensation of the soles of your feet stretching and opening and pumping more blood into your legs, okay? So a little bit more of this. Maybe you need to push the hips back or just coming back towards the tabletop. Once you're there, feel again your hands, your knees settle there, lift your lower abdomen into the back body and lengthen the crown of your head. We are going to start with a little bit of balancing here. First, stretching the right leg back. Let your toes touch your mat. So I'm tucking my toes, I'm pushing through the heel to tone the muscles. And even though I'm trying not to lock my knee, what I'm doing is to feel my muscles hugging my bones so they are actively, right, starting to activate more. Push the air a little more. And then if you feel like you're ready for that, lift your leg a little higher so it's parallel to the floor. Lift your belly and send your left arm forward. So we are adding more balancing and core here. Push both ends away from one another. Lift your belly button up and reach forward through the crown of your head. One more breath. Good, and then release just your left hand down. And if you can, if you have the space, move your left shin over to the left. It's almost like going a quarter, right, of the measurement to turn. And then we are turning also the pelvis and the chest. I'm keeping my right leg parallel to the floor, but if this feels like it's too much, you can always put the right foot down and do the shape in this way. It's totally fine, okay? So I'm lifting the leg, I'm pushing through the heel. I'm toning the underside of my leg, so I'm hugging those muscles again into the bones. And as I'm pushing, I'm also firing my glutes. That's important so the lower back doesn't feel bad, okay? So fire the glutes. It's almost like if your tailbone is pushing the front of your pelvis forward, turn the chest up and see if you can send your right arm up. You can always look up to your hand. You can look also towards the front like I'm doing or down. The one that feels best for your neck, that's the one to go with, okay? So stretch, it's almost like if we are stretching like a sun, right? So my leg, my arm, both arms, we are trying to move them away from the center line. Take another breath. Good, and then I'm going to add one extra, bending the right knee, trying to catch the foot, and if you can, you bring that foot gently towards you. The right elbow is bent and my shoulder is moving back, so I'm opening the chest as well. Tailbone in, and if you have the space there, you can lean back a little. Then we slowly release. And we return into that tabletop like we did before. Wiggle a little bit side to side. And then we go into the second side of balancing slowly. So again, I'm pressing through my hands, extending the left leg this time. I'm going to tuck my toes under. And with the ball of my foot, I'm pushing so I can activate that leg and press through the heel. Lift the abdomen, lengthen through the crown of the head. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through your nose if you can. Good, and then we add a little more balancing, lifting that left heel, pushing with the heel away from you. If lifting the leg, it's all you can do and it feels like it's already a nice workout, then you stay here, you don't need to add the arm, okay? If you're adding the arm, make sure that the belly button is lifted, the crown of the head is lengthening, and then the right arm is going away from you. And now like an arrow, I'm trying to stretch my arm and my leg away from one another, lifting the belly again, take another breath. Good, then I'm taking my right hand down. I'm going to give you my back for a little bit, and I'm going to turn the right shin over to the right. This time, I'm lifting that left leg, and remember, you can always put the foot down if you want to balance less, okay? So I'm sending that left leg, pushing through the heel. I'm firing the glutes and almost like pushing with the tailbone towards the front of my pelvis. Left arm goes up. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Lengthen through the crown of the head so the back of your neck and skull also get space. And then if you are up for it, you can bend that left knee, catch the foot, grab it and bring it in a little. Maybe you're pressing a little more with the foot into the hand, or maybe just the foot towards you. Both options are good. And then as I keep taking my tailbone down, I'm trying to send the left shoulder back and lean back a little if you choose to add a little bit more back bend to it. Good. Then I'm slowly releasing, returning back to the tabletop. Okay, awesome. Wiggle a little bit here before I take you somewhere else. Good. Now we are going to play a little bit with a similar shape, but adding a little more. So I'm going to, again, send my left shin out to the side like I did before. And again, I'm going to put my right foot down this time instead of bringing that leg parallel. And we're going to stay here for a moment. Again, I want you to fire up your glutes, lift the chest, lift the abdomen towards your chest, and press firmly through that left hand so that arm is really, really strong, and that left shoulder blade is moving into your spine, okay? If you have the ability or you want to play with me, what I'm going to add to this is keeping that right foot really steady. I'm going to try and add the left foot in front. So I have like one behind the other, okay? If you can keep going with this, keep pushing through that left hand, turn the chest up, send the right arm up. So we are balancing sideways, okay? Tailbone in, lift the hips, open the chest. And if possible, that right arm is coming in front of the chest and then over the head. And instead of sending that arm down, keep it a little bit into a diagonal, turn the chest, tailbone in, and reach far from you. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhale, bring that right hand down, and then bring both knees down. Wiggle a little. We are adding pieces, you know me, so each time a little more, okay? Now we are going into the second side. So now right shin, it's coming out to the side, extending the left leg out, pressing through the left foot. Important here that again, we fire up the glutes, we push the tailbone forward. It's almost like if I'm hooking that tailbone underneath the pelvis, opening the chest, okay? You can stay here and do the arm part and it's totally fine. If you want to add the second portion, we need to make sure that that right hand is pushing the floor away. You're toning that arm and sending that right shoulder blade towards your spine, okay? And then pushing that left foot down, I'm adding the right foot in front, like a little line, right? Foot to foot, right? One under and one after the other. I'm again firing the glutes, pushing, lifting the chest, left arm up. Lift the hips. Take a breath. And then that left arm is coming in front and over, and we are stretching as much as we can. Keep activating those glutes, fired up, so you can support your lower back. Good. Then we are bringing that left hand down. Come back. If you can stay in a plank pose, we are staying in plank. Push through the heels, lift the belly, lengthen the spine. And then push back into a down dog. This is our first one. So give yourself a moment or two here to pedal your feet, to walk a little like we call it, Or maybe like I'm doing, bend the knees, wiggle the hips side to side, check the position of your hands. You can feel a little bit more of the opening in the chest by pressing with your hands and sending the chest towards your legs and the inner thighs towards the wall you have behind you. Taking a couple of breaths here, try and broaden your upper back and push into your pinky fingers as you lift the belly in. Good. And then we bring the feet together at the back of the mat. We are going to lift both heels over the toes, hollow the belly, send the right leg up, bend your right knee, bring the knee towards the chest, push the floor away, lift that right knee a little higher, and then bring the right foot inside your right hand. Once you have that, press through the back heel, tone that back leg. So I'm trying to lift the muscles into the bones. Firm or tuck, I'm going to say your right hip towards the back of your mat. Lengthen the torso. Take one breath. Good, and then as you push firmly through the right foot, try and come up, high crescent. When you get into the high crescent, see if you can sit a little deeper into that front leg, and you can bend the back knee a little so the pelvis becomes a little more vertical. Reach up, take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Good, as we balance here, we are going to grab the left forearm and pull there a little, and see if you can bring that left side over to the right. Firm the hips, lift the belly, keep the chest facing forward. Back to center, we inhale. We exhale, back to down dog. In between the first and the second side, we are going to come into a plank. You can always use your knees first to come down. I'm going to show that version, knees down. Now that doesn't mean that I'm not using my core, so I'm hugging that abdomen up, bend the elbows, come down, extend through your legs, press the tops of your legs down, keep your hands under the shoulders, let's inhale, lengthen the sides of your body to lift the shoulders a little, and then send them back into one another and down. Reach up through your sternum, lengthen through the back of your skull and keep the chin of the chest. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Tuck your toes, bend the knees. We go up to down dog. One full breath here. And then feet together. We start the second side, heels over the toes. Tone those legs so we can send the inner thighs back. Draw that low belly up, left leg goes up, bend the left knee, bring yourself into a plank with the knee towards the chest. Good. Lift a little higher, and then we put that left foot inside the left hand. Awesome, once you're there, again, press through that back heel, lengthen the spine, draw the belly in, take a deep breath in here and out. And if you feel ready, you can always modify the version that I showed before. You can first go onto your thighs, then from there lift yourself so it's a little easier. Of course, using any support that you need. And lastly, arms up. Bending the back knee to lift the front of the belly a little. Maybe you let that left side drop a little more. Reach up. Then we catch the right forearm. We pull from there. Opening the chest, keep the chest facing forward, and then you lean over to your left. I have a little bit of help here because the wall is very close to me, so I'm touching with my finger pads, but you can do the same, or just reach up and over, keeping the chest facing to the front, then coming back, and down to down dog. We add another little flow here, coming into plank. This time, I'm not going to use my knees, but you can repeat the same movement as before, okay? Coming down. I'm going to re-extend the legs, press through the tops of your feet. This time, I'm going to send my arms back with my palms facing up. Reach back as much as you can to lift the chest a little more. Send the shoulder blades down your back and interlace fingers. From there, I'm creating a little bit more connection into my shoulder blades into the midline and then pulling back. Lift the chin off the chest. Press with your belly down and see if you can lift your legs. One more breath. Then we release. And back up we go to down dog. Good. Let's go with something new. Feet together, lift your heels. Push those hip creases up and back. Right leg goes up. Bend your right knee. Bring that knee towards a plank. Right foot forward again, like we started before. Ready? Lengthen the spine, firm the hips, tucking that right hip in. And we are going back up one more time. This time we are going to play with something new. Okay, one thing that we are doing here, hands to heart. Lift that low belly, bend the front thigh a little more. Good, we're going to move towards a twist and coming over to the right. That back leg needs to be toned. Left elbow to right knee or thigh. You can use your right hand, palm to press down into the left one and lift the chest. Hollow your belly as much as you can and send your right elbow back a little. Breathe. Good, optional to add arms opening, lifting the chest a little more, firming that right hip in a little more. And the most important thing here is from your tailbone to your head to find length. Good. Bring the palms together, come back. It's not over. We are going back up. Good. And then from here, we are going to try and bring that back leg forward and we're going to cross it over the right thigh. So it will look like a number 4. So I'm leaning towards the front. You can always touch down if you need. And then I'm putting that right foot on top of the, left foot on top of the right thigh. And we sit into what we call a chair type or squat type shape. My left foot is active. You can use your wall, you can use blocks, anything that you want. This is a good hip opener as well. So you can have your hands, like I just said, in front of your chest or with support, okay? If you can, you push those hip creases a little further back, like sitting a little deeper. Reach up with your spine. Good. Then I'm releasing, going back to that lunge that I had before. Inhaling, arms up, and exhaling to down dog. From here, we're gonna go straight into the second side, okay? So both heels over the toes, reach up with those eating bones, push the floor away, left leg up, and the left knee to chest, and left foot inside the left hand. Good. Reach forward with the spine, make your hips steady, hollow the belly. When you're ready, we are going back up again. You can bend the back knee if you want, like we did before. Reach up, hands to heart. Take I'm pushing through my heel. And then from there, I'm turning, reaching up through the crown of the head. Then back to center. Good. From here, I'm bringing that back leg forward, okay? And we are going to take that right foot over the left thigh and sit back into a chair shape. Hollow the belly, sit a little deeper if you can, lift through the spine. Good. Then I'm slowly going back. I hope you can still see me because something happened with the camera there. I don't know, but I'm going back into that lunge that I had before, reaching up through the arms. Then putting the hands down, back to down dog. And this time from down dog, if you can still hear me and you can follow, walk your hands back towards your feet. Bend your knees, let the trunk drop over your legs, release the neck and the head. If you want, you can wiggle a little bit sideways, or you can stay steady where you are, just dropping. And what we are doing is creating an inversion where the head is below your heart. So give yourself a couple more breaths. Then bring your hands to your hips. Let your elbows point up towards the ceiling or skies. Hollow your belly. Press firmly through your heels and the balls of your feet. Lengthen the spine halfway up. And then as you push through the feet one more time, you come up towards standing. Awesome. Here we are standing. Shake it a little. Just checking that everyone is okay. I don't know why I cannot see myself big. But let's try and pin it again just in case. Okay, super. So we are shaking. I'm gonna remove my blanket because I don't need it. And from standing, we're going to check the feet that are together. We're going to press into the left foot, firm your legs and your hips. You can start with your hands on your hips. Push into your left heel. So the weight of my body is coming a little bit back. And then I'm going to lift right leg, meaning that my knee is coming up a little higher, right? If you can with your right hand, you're going to go inside that right shin or foot or ankle, lift the leg a little higher or the knee a little higher, and then place that foot on top, inside the left thigh, okay? I'm pressing with the heel, so we are trying to push that heel into the left, but both hips are hugging the midline, okay? Of course, you can use a wall or any support. Many times I tell my students that you can even do the whole shape standing against the wall, and it's a really nice way to learn the shape if we feel a little unsteady, right? So I'm just moving a little bit away, but you could be doing this, making sure that you have the wall support or even leaning. That's what I'm doing now, okay? So either or, send your tailbone down, lift the belly up. You can keep your hands onto your hips. You can also choose to bring your hands in front of the heart center. This is a little more challenging. The further out you go with your arms, the more challenging it becomes, okay? Firm the glutes. Maybe you want to send your arms out. Maybe you turn the palms and you bring the arms up overhead. Then exhale, release through the leg and shake it a little. The leg that is the standing leg needs to create a lot of support and strength, right? So you may feel the shin, the calf muscle really calling your name. Second side, feet together. We check that we are spreading the toes. We start from a nice strong base, heels heavy, mainly the right one now. Hands to the hips, tailbone long, reach up through the crown of the head. And as you press into that right heel, you have the opportunity to lift that left knee a little higher. Good. Once you go to the highest that you can go without help, then you go with your left hand inside that ankle or shin, lift a little higher if you can. The spine needs to stay as tall as you can. Then you put that foot in, firming the hips. You can always stay with your hands on your hips, or remember, like I said before, use any support close by, okay? Reach up through the crown of the head. Hands to the heart center would be the next stage. Arms out, next stage. And then arms overhead would be the last one. You can keep the arms parallel or bring the palms together and reach up. Tailbone down, chest open, breathe. Then release. And we release everything and we shake it again a little bit. Awesome. Wiggle the hips a tiny bit. Good. And shake and shake. Excellent. Okay, we don't have a lot of time left, but from here, we're going to do something that even though it's not a lot of balancing, it's really good after this little balancing that we were doing. So widen your feet, press through the heels, send the tailbone down and firm your glutes, okay? We are going to inhale, send the arms up overhead. With the exhale, we release, we come down, and we are creating another fold where I am sending my hands a little bit away from me. I don't know if you can see them, but I'm going to move a little further back. So my hands and my arms are doing like a down dog. I'm pushing the floor down and away. I'm releasing the head. I'm lifting the belly. I'm stretching a lot the backs of my legs here. And we're going to add a little bit of twisting. So then I'm going to walk my hands under my head, walk them both towards the right. Maybe you can go and grab your foot, your shin, your knee, your ankle, anywhere that you can go. Press the legs firm, but bend the knees if you need. And I'm trying to bring my abdomen and chest over to that right side. Then I'm releasing back to center, walking over, last side, and I'm moving to the left. I'm lifting the belly, twisting over to that side, maybe holding with both hands or one, maybe you're using props. Good, and then back to center. Good. Press with your finger pads so you can lift yourself a little higher. Walk your feet in towards one another. And let's add a squat as we many times finish our practice. So opening my toes out, my feet in a little bit of a V shape. I'm releasing my hips down. And I'm coming into a squat. Good. Okay. Take another breath. And then slowly with your hands, bring yourself down into a sit, crossing the legs. It doesn't matter which leg goes in front, just sit tall for a moment. And we're going to take on a gentle twist here. Left hand to your right knee, right hand behind, lift your spine, turn over to the right, soften the shoulders and reach up through the crown of the head. Then slowly back to center. Nice, and we switch right hand to the left hand behind, reach up through the crown of the head. And then with the help of that right hand, you can pull a little to turn over to the left. Relax the shoulders, reach up through the head. And back to center we go. Awesome. Then switch the leg cross. So the one that was in front, you put it behind, and we'll fold a little bit, which is also very calming after the work that we just did. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Get yourself tall and then reach forward and down, release. Let the head drop, let the upper back round a little, it's all good. You can even swing your body a little bit side to side if you want, or just stay where you are for 2 breaths. Then slowly we return back to the seated position and we just close your eyes for a moment, bring your hands close to the heart center. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhaling through the nose as well. And notice the sensations in your body in this moment after the practice. Thank you guys so much for joining today's balancing practice. I'll see you next time around. Be well, have a wonderful weekend. Namaste.